Game birds are a rare and precious commodity this year.
So do you know your pheasants personally now, Paul? Has it got to that point?
This is Raymond, or Ray to his friends. He's probably got about, I think he's got 42 acres to himself.
Oh, lovely.
Ray is one of the few pheasants Paul will have running around his ground. Bird flu saw to that. Instead, it's all about ducks for Mr. Childerley.
Have you lost many?
Touch wood, which I'm going to touch wood. Everything's a bit superstitious this year. No, I know it's been really good actually. A couple of other ones we fenced. Don't normally fence ducks, but again, it's not just for the foxes and stuff. That people walk where they shouldn't walk, and the dogs, and everything this year counts. So
you've already taken a few foxes off, haven't you?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the other shoot, Buttermilk, we shot, I think we shot 50 odd foxes this year.
No way.
Yeah, I can't believe, especially now with everyone with this like thermal imaging stuff. Everybody's got it. Everybody's doing it. Foxes should seriously look out, but they're still there. There's still so many foxes. So where are they coming from? Gremlins. Yeah.
To ensure the safe passage of these ducks from field to fork and not to fox, we're out tonight to keep the ever-present threat to bird life and to Paul's wallet in check. Helping on the cash front is finding cute ways of feeding the birds.
Obviously food's a major thing with ducks, and they shovel it big time. We've got wheat, barley, rye we feed them, obviously tailings, but so we also try and feed them so like some of these bits and pieces like potatoes or carrots. Potatoes are choice this year. We've got a farm down the road. He obviously kept over a few extra ton, and so we're having a few of them off him. It's quite interesting. You dump them like this, and they don't really get into it. They don't really feel the love for it. And then once they just rot a little bit, they just start on one or two. You see, one or two they just started nibbling, and that'd be the ones that are soft and rotten. But once they get into them, they love them. They really? Absolutely, yeah. And it just saves, again, with the colossal wheat prices and pellet prices, it just saves a bit of a few costs, a few pennies. Bit of extra protein, bit of extra nourishment for when they're pushing the feathers through, because you find ducks from like 12 weeks old, they eat a lot of food because obviously they're growing the feathers, and then they'll tail off again. Once they start to colour up a bit, you'll find that they tail off. They won't push so much food through. If you sat there and worked out what a duck eats from, well, we got these 3 weeks ago, so beginning of June to November, you got to be talking 25, 30 kilograms per duck. Got to be, which is,
what you eat.
Yeah. Protein.
It's a stunning evening with plenty of wildlife on show. Well, eyes and ears. Foxing is possible because some of the grass fields are freshly cut. Paul is confident that we will get something. The buzzards are a good indicator.
Look, all these buzzards here, look. These buzzards and kites are here. You know what that is, don't you, David?
Fresh meat?
Fresh carrion. Whether it's frogs, toads and mice, or young Chinese water deer fawn.
Is it just what we want, is it?
This is prime. No one's been on it yet. And we got a railway track, got a village, piggery, and we got our ducks. So, massive food source, loads of cover, and this is the first bit down. So, and it's been down for a couple of nights as well. Didn't get to it at the weekend. Yes, tonight's going to be hopefully a good night to mop up a couple on here. Feeling quite confident.
Now, there's good news and bad news about tonight's foxing. The bad, it happens to coincide with the dawn of the summer solstice, so it could be a late one. The good, tomorrow Paul is hosting the first ever HIKMicro dealer event at his lodge, so kit is no issue. Shop owners from all over the south of England are receiving a lesson in thermology. Not our word, but Paul Hodson's, old friend of the show and recently appointed Business Development Manager for HIKMicro UK and Ireland.
We're going to go through a little bit of technical with them, show them how thermology works, and they all pretty much know.
Thermology?
Thermology.
Is that a word?
That is my word of the day, thermology. So we're just going to go through the basics of what thermology is, about net Ds and the noise equivalent, temperature difference, and do all the technical stuff. We're going to split into a couple of groups, and then we're going to take half the group down Paul's range, and we're going to do some shooting at targets. We've strategically placed stuff all around the estate, so we've got deer out and foxes, and we're going to have a plink and test the thermal scopes out.
So what's the question? What is the question that you get asked when you're at the shows?
Quarry identification. Can I spot and can I comfortably shoot a fox and identify it as a fox at distance? That is fundamentally what people want to know. Technology has moved forward that quickly and that rapidly over the last couple of years that I've gone from a thermal doubter to literally a thermal...
Another phrase.
Yeah, that was full of phrasing. A thermal doubter to a thermal addict. So I've got my 223 and my 222 now got thermal scopes on. I've got the Stella on my 222 and the Panther PQ50L on, which is a laser rangefinding version, on my 223. I've now been converted because technology has moved and it's become so advanced these days that the image quality, especially with the 640 sensors, the crispness of the image is absolutely spot on. And that's what we were talking to the dealers about as well. Because there's 384 sensors, 640 sensors, which ones do we recommend for which discipline that you're going to use? Do you need a high-end sensor if you're only going to be shooting right to 40 yards?
Paul is a keen fox shooter and has already recorded some of his foxes through the new Stellar thermal scope, which we're using tonight.
Instead of Paul talking it through, who probably go, yes, it works, just explain why this is a bit different. Again, the tube is the way it's all going, isn't it?
Tube is what everybody wants. We've all seen the big square boxes on top of guns, but everybody wants something that's easily mountable on universal mounts, 13mm rings, on a Picatinny rail. Looks like a scope, feels like a scope. This is our flagship model. This is the SQ50. This is the 640 sensor. It's absolutely phenomenal scope. It's a one-shot zero. I use it on my 222. This is Paul's 243. I took this down the range earlier on today and I took a couple of shots for Paul. And this is absolutely spot on. I think he's taking it out tonight foxing with yourself, David. So if he misses, it ain't the rifle, it's Paul.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I guarantee that if he puts the crosshair on the fox, just remind him that if the crosshair's green, it's correct. But yeah, this is state-of-the-art technology in a rifle scope.
We head out just after 10 p.m. It's still not dark, but there's lots to be done. Sam and Paul are less off-bonnet, more off-sticks fox shooters.
Do you normally walk when you're with other guys?
No.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to walk. We're like into a bit of walking and a bit of stealth mode, you call it.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, we could go and park in the truck, but we're going to walk. That's what we do.
Sam spots using the HIK Griffin. Peeking round the hedge, and there's one out looking for morsels left from the mowing. Sam calls and the fox comes running.
Call him up. I see him.
It's neat and efficient, and we're off the mark straight away.
He coming beautiful. He coming absolutely cracking.
Really?
Yeah.
No, good stuff. Let's go and see it.
No more like that, Sambo? Do that other one through. Yeah.
We leave that fox for a few minutes and cross to the neighbouring larger field. Sam places the call and selects the right mood music.
So generally I work on the basis, use what food is around them. So there being a lot of partridge on there, I'm going to try partridge straight first. just because they'll be listening for it, and any foxes work in this territory on a regular basis will more than likely be used to hunting partridges. So that's what I'm going to try. There's not a lot of rabbits down here, so like rabbit distress generally does work, but if there's not a lot of rabbits, it's not always most beneficial to use rabbit distress. Just use what food is there.
It's quite good, isn't it, walking? Just a different aspect. You've got these small little bits cut off. You don't need a truck piling in with all the noise and the lights and everything clunking. Walking nice and quietly, two of you, say, ambush that field and come back a bit of a call in. And like say Sam said, you know, hit the right bait, right food that they're used to hearing and attacking and chasing, and they'll come.
It's a well tooled up dog fox.
He's been feasting on Chinese water deer.
So happy boy then, that's working quite well tonight, isn't it?
I'm chuffed with that. That's where the money was.
David also manages to get it on the camera by extending his IR filming range thanks to a wicked light illuminator from Scott Country. Returning to our first fox, and it's a vixen.
That's got damage. Vixen. Yeah.
And obviously happy with the way the Paul's set up your new Stella.
Yeah, perfect. Couldn't fault it really. It was actually very, very simple. Turn it on, press record, discuss the distance just because we wanted to see, you know, what was what. Took a little time on the first one because of wanted to get a bit of good footage, and there was no problem with it because obviously the wind was right and she was busy doing her own thing in the hay. And then Sam put the pressure on with a couple of squeaks and bang, she was coming. And I quite like this Stella because it's like a normal scope, so it's less cumbersome, better balance. It just feels like you're using your normal scope, just changing a bit of parallax or a bit of, you know, focus. Or it's so simple. Turn the red dot on the scope, turning the thing on, exactly the same. That's why I like it.
That was a neat and tidy job, and all within a few hundred metres of a housing estate. No vehicle noise, no lamps, just a moderated Sacco S20 in 243. We try 2 more locations, but with events to run and films to edit, we call it a night. For more information about the HIKMicro Stellar Thermal Scope, go to eliteoptical.co.uk.